All right, everybody. I know it's been a few days since we've done anything with the sawmill, but we're getting back to it today. Gonna kind of show you guys my process, pending I remember how I do it, to mill some boards. We're gonna try to make a couple 2x4s for our garden fence project. I got a log on here I cut down a couple months ago. I don't know that we're gonna get much good out of it, but for the sake of getting back in the hang of things and showing you guys how it works, we're gonna run it. So I just wanted to go through my process of what I've figured out that works to be relatively efficient with getting everything going. So when I'm trying to squeeze out the maximum length of boards for the track that I have. I've mentioned in previous videos, you can get just over 10 feet with the setup that I purchased from the auction without a track extension. So when I set my logs on there, I always put my carriage or always to this end, and I put the log on and I shove it up as close to the bandsaw blade as humanly possible. But I'm just by looking at it, I think this log may be a little long. Maybe. I can't remember if I measured it when I put it on here. Oh, that one's 10 feet exactly, so we should be able to get it. So once I kind of have it positioned, I'll set the log dogs. The other thing I did want to mention is I've been setting them small end by the mill to big end over here. I think you end up getting some more waste, but when you do your first cut on the small end, then you know it's going to be like flat the whole way across. So that's the way I found is more efficient than versus doing the big end first and then kind of slowly making cuts down till you get a full flat side. So happy with where the log's set. I'm going to get these log dogs set. So you kind of got to pull the teeth all the way back, and then I mentioned in another video how these don't slide very well. So I kind of push them a little past the log and then pull back to get some tension and tighten this. And now that puppy's not going anywhere. We got one more back here. And you can tell when they tighten, they got quite a bit of tension under them. So the other thing you got to be cognizant of when making your cuts is these like holders or stops. So you always want to make sure that they're shorter than the cut you're trying to achieve. So like right now I'm just getting my first flat side, so I got quite a bit of leeway, but like that one's set at just under 5 inches and this one's 3, so I got plenty of room. But I am going to try to make a true to dimension 2x4. So when I go to get that last cut, I'm going to want to make sure that those are less than 2 inches tall, and I may have to switch over to the shorter stops that come with the mill. So, but log's basically set now, so we can work on getting our mill set to start. So I've got a couple things already done that we won't have on video. I've got my tank up here already full of water and a little bit of dish soap, so that just helps keep the blade cool. And I had kind of already cranked down my carriage, but you run this handle here to get it up and down. And I'm just was aiming, like I said, trying to get my first flat side. So I basically just try to get I kind of sight down the log and just get the blade pretty much as close as I can get it and feel like I'm going to get a full flat side. Sometimes I'll take the tape measure and like if I know I'm trying to achieve at least 4 inches wide, I'll see where my cut's starting, if I'm going to get a 4-inch wide flat side. So it looks like on this cut, we're going to need to move down just a little bit. So a lot of times I'll crank it down and kind of push it till the band hits the log. And so that should give me some playroom right there. So once that's set, you push these locks down. That just kind of locks the carriage on the slides, I guess you would say. And then the next thing I look at is this blade support. You have to look down the edge of the log and see if that support is gonna hit. And right now mine's all the way in and it looks like it's gonna be pretty close. So I'm gonna move it back just a couple inches to be safe. To move that blade support, or what I call blade support, out, there's two little knobs here. So you just turn this one, and you can grab this handle here and pull it back just a little. So I'm just gonna move mine maybe a couple inches and tighten those back up. And I assume if your band gets really old, this handle may loosen eventually, but I do just check this to make sure it's kind of snug. That makes sure that the two wheels holding the bandsaw blade in place are tight. I had that too loose one time, and my band came off and ran into the guard, and I toasted a blade. So, but once that's all ready, we can put our ear protection on, get it started up, and make our first cut. So I'm gonna, just for sake of me not talking over the motor running, I'm gonna turn the water on. So this is I guess a needle valve, and so you turn it, and it's gonna slowly start. You're gonna slowly start seeing water come through. So I usually open it past too far, and then the water will start spitting out down here. And then I kind of crank it down a little till we get either a slower stream or kind of a drip. And then it's good to go. So yeah, we're gonna get this thing started up. I did start it a minute ago because it has been sitting for a couple months and she started right up. So hopefully it does again. So this is the old Chinese knockoff here. Special is electric start. So I'll just pull the choke and starts right up. So everything's locked, ready to go. We got water dripping, so we're gonna see if she takes off here. Nope, looks like we got our first issue. I think it might be stuck. Okay, let's try her again. Okay, since I'm just making one cut and I'll have to rotate the log, I usually do shut the motor off at the end, and then I jump up on the track and reach through here and shut my water off. In our short review video, I had mentioned that that's kind of a pain, and that's the reason why you're always ending up jumping up here to shut the water off, or you just leave it drip the whole time. If I'm doing multiple cuts on the same side, back to back, I'll leave the motor running and leave the water on. So that's motor shut off, water shut off. I then reach over, release the two stops, and then come over here and crank the handle, usually about 3 to 4 times. That'll give us the clearance to get the bandsaw back, and then we can grab our cut off and discard it. So you'll see, since I started with the small side and went to the big side, we do have some waste. So I'll probably save this and make a shorter board out of it later. So now we can pull this back. Okay, so now we got to rotate the log kind of one turn to get the flat side against the stops. If you're really concerned about having a square piece of wood, you can, when we do this, you can measure and get a square towards the bandsaw versus the edge of the log to make sure it's perfect. But keep in mind, this is rough sawn timber, so it's not going to be perfect. If you want really nice boards, you're probably going to have to run them through a planer after the fact, especially with this kind of budget-friendly sawmill. So I'm not too concerned about having my boards exactly square for the project they're going towards. So I'm just going to roll it over and set my blade height and carry on. It's going to be pretty much the same process from here till we get a square log, and once it's square into the dimensions we like, then we'll start making our multiple cuts to get the 2x4s out of it. So I think we're just gonna maybe speed this up, and you can just kind of watch me make this round thing square. So here we go. Can tell on that cut I got a little greedy, and I'm probably going to have to leave it on this side and come back and maybe take another 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch off. So this would be one of the few times I actually use this gauge here. So I'll lower the bandsaw down till the band or the blade basically just starts skimming the top of the log. And then I'll set this just to an arbitrary number, let's say 6 inches, and I'll back the bandsaw up, and then I can just lower this to 6 1/2 or 6 3/4. Let's try 6 1/2. And once we're happy there, we'll carry on. So we've made what looks like a post now, or we got a square board, square log, if you will, rectangle. And my one side dimension is 4 inches. I'm trying to get a true 2x4 to match up with the posts that I milled that are true 4 inches. So I flipped it to where my 4-inch side is up, I guess you'd say. And so now I can set it and try to cut a couple boards off of here. Like I said, I think this log in the middle is pretty nasty. That some bugs got up in it. So I don't know if any of these will be any good. Maybe one on either side, but we're gonna lock her back in and see what happens. Okay, so now that we're getting to our final cuts, my bottom cut will be about 2 inches to get my 2x4. And these, with the height that I have my sawmill track set at, I can't get these any lower than like 3 inches. Yeah, 2 7/8. So I'm gonna change them out with these little stubby ones, which basically go down to like 3/4 or an inch. So we'll just slide these out and put these shorties in there. And then we don't need much at all to grab the edge of the log. So there you have it, 2 true 2x4s. It actually turned out pretty good. It's just the ends that kind of have some bug eating on them. But so the piece I started with was 5 inches tall, so we got two 2x4s and a 1x4. So that's our kind of little rundown of how I make round things square. Thanks, and thanks for watching.